Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that in just 6 months, you could wake up as a completely different person? Not a billionaire, not a superhero, but someone you actually respect when you look in the mirror. Because let's be honest, most people don't hate their life. They just hate being stuck in the same day over and over again, calling it a life. You scroll, you compare, you complain, you sleep, and then you do it again. You know what that's called? That's called being alive but not living. And today, that ends. Because from this moment, we start a 6-month reset that can change everything. Month 1 is simple. You clean your chaos. Not just your room, but your life. See, you can't pour fresh water into a dirty glass. You can't build a new future while holding on to old junk. So this month, delete the mess. Start small. Clean your desk, delete old chats, throw away the things that remind you of who you don't want to be anymore. Stop replying to people who drain your energy faster than your phone battery. Because if you hang around 5 complainers, you'll become the 6th. Some of you want to change your life, but your room looks like your dreams died there. Your desktop has 97 screenshots of motivation you never opened. Your phone has 10,000 unread messages and 0 real connections. You can't expect peace when your life looks like a junk drawer. Even billionaires take time to clean their mind. Bill Gates disappears for a week every year. He calls it Think Week. No meetings, no emails, no noise, just thinking, reflecting, resetting. If he can do it, so can you. Cleaning isn't just physical, it's mental. This month, write down everything that's been haunting you. Every regret, every mistake, every toxic habit. Look at it, accept it, forgive yourself. You can't reset your life if you're still punishing yourself for your past. The past is a place of reference, not residence. Stop renting space there. Because as long as your mind is full of yesterday, tomorrow can't move in. You know what most people do when they feel lost? They look for motivation. But you don't need motivation. You need a reset, a fresh start, a new baseline. Sometimes you're not tired of life, you're just tired of the clutter around it. Once you clean your space, your mind becomes clear. And once your mind becomes clear, your future finally shows up. People say, I want to manifest a new life. But how? When your bed's not made and your fridge is empty? Even your future self doesn't want to visit you like that. You want big energy? Then live like you deserve it. Put your phone down. Open your window. Breathe. Life is not stuck, you are. And it's time to move. Let me tell you a small story. A friend of mine once lost his job and said, my life is over. I told him, perfect, that means you can finally start fresh. He laughed, but he took my advice seriously. He cleaned his room, deleted toxic numbers, changed his morning routine. 1 month later, he felt peace. 2 months later, he found purpose. 6 months later, he was unrecognizable. Not because the world changed, but because he did. So month 1, this is your cleanup month. Remove the noise, the clutter, the chaos. Let go of the people who make you feel heavy. Let go of the past that doesn't deserve another replay, because the lighter you travel, the faster you move. Ladies and gentlemen, this month, don't chase success. Chase clarity. Because the clearer your space becomes, the louder your purpose will speak. This is where your 6-month reset begins. Clean your chaos and make room for your comeback. Ladies and gentlemen, now that your life looks cleaner, it's time to make it stronger. Because a clean table is useless if you don't start building something on it. Month 1 was about cleaning your chaos. Month 2 is about creating your structure. Let me tell you a secret. People don't lose in life because they're lazy. They lose because they have no system. They wake up every day hoping something will change. But hope is not a plan. If you want to change your life in 6 months, you must build a routine that protects your energy and directs your focus. Be honest. How do you start your morning? For most people, the first thing they touch isn't water. It's their phone. You wake up, check messages, check drama, check notifications, and before 9 a.m., your brain is already exhausted from other people's lives. And you wonder why you feel stuck. Because you gave the world your energy before you even gave yourself 10 minutes. Once a student asked me, how can I stay motivated every day? I told him, don't stay motivated, stay organized. Motivation dies. Systems don't. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't do it because you're motivated. You do it because you like having teeth. Same with life. You don't build routines because you feel like it. You build them because you want to keep your dreams alive. So here's what you'll do in month 2. Wake up earlier. Not 5 a.m., not 4 a.m., just 30 minutes earlier than usual. That small gap is your secret weapon. Use it for yourself before the world wakes up. Create a morning ritual. Drink water, stretch, read something uplifting. Write your goals, not your grocery list, your life goals. Block 1 hour daily for growth, 1 hour for learning, not scrolling. Study your craft, learn a new skill, or read a chapter of a book. End your day intentionally. Don't sleep while holding your phone. Write what you achieved, what you learned, and what needs improvement. Because your routine decides your reality. If your days are weak, your life will be too. You know Kobe Bryant? He used to practice basketball at 4 a.m. while everyone else was sleeping. He said, if I train 4 times a day while others train twice, over the years, I win automatically. That's not luck, that's structure. Even Einstein had a fixed schedule for thinking, walking, and resting. The world remembers genius, but genius was built on routine. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. and start meditating under a waterfall. Just fix your timing. Stop saying, I don't have time, when your phone clearly shows you spent 5 hours on TikTok. You have time. You just have no direction. Start controlling your time like it's money, because it is. Waste 1 hour a day, that's 30 hours a month, almost a full work week lost to nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, your routine is not just about productivity, it's about respect. If you respect your dreams, you'll create time for them. If you don't, life will replace your dreams with distractions. There's no perfect routine, there's only a personal rhythm that makes you feel alive. Find it, protect it, repeat it. A friend once told me, I wish I had your discipline. I told him, you don't need my discipline, you need my calendar. Because what gets scheduled gets done. Don't let your days happen to you, make them yours. The biggest flex in life is not a new phone, not a car, not followers. It's waking up with purpose every day. So in month 2, rebuild your routine. Wake up early, move your body, learn something daily. Don't chase motivation, chase mastery. Because ladies and gentlemen, in month 1, you cleaned your chaos. Now in month 2, you're building your foundation. And in month 3, we'll rebuild your mind. Because once your thoughts change, your entire world follows. Ladies and gentlemen, you've cleaned your chaos. You've built your routine. Now it's time for the most powerful part of all. Rebuilding your mind. Because let's be honest, it doesn't matter how clean your room is or how early you wake up. If your mind still says, I can't, then you're already finished before you start. The truth is, your life doesn't move until your mindset does. Your body lives in 2025, but your thoughts are still stuck in 2018, replaying old failures like Netflix reruns. It's time to hit delete and start upgrading your brain software. You ever notice some people read hundreds of motivational quotes and still say, my life never changes? That's because they read motivation like memes, not medicine. You don't heal by reading the prescription, you heal by taking it. So this month, stop collecting motivation. Start reprogramming your mindset. Here's what month 3 is all about. First, guard your inputs. Stop feeding your mind garbage. What you watch, listen to, and read becomes your inner voice. If all you consume is gossip, negativity, and comparison, you'll start believing life is miserable. Second, feed your mind growth. Read at least 10 pages a day. Listen to podcasts that teach, not complain. Study people who inspire you, not distract you. Third, practice gratitude. Every morning, write 3 things you're thankful for, no matter how small. Gratitude doesn't change your life instantly, but it changes your lens. You start seeing what's right instead of what's wrong. Fourth, replace your thoughts. When your mind says, I can't, reply, I'm learning. When it says, it's too late, reply, it's never too late for discipline. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, yet came out with peace in his heart. He said, I never lose, I either win or learn. That's mindset. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company, but instead of crying, he said it was the best thing that ever happened to him because it gave him the space to think creatively again. Even J.K. Rowling broke, rejected 12 times, used her imagination to turn pain into $1 billion story. They didn't change their environment first, they changed their minds first. You can't say I'm unlucky when you spend every evening watching people who already made it. Your brain doesn't need more celebrity drama, it needs your own comeback story. Some people treat their mind like a trash can. Everything negative goes in, nothing valuable comes out. This month, close the lid. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to change your world, change your words. Because your words become your thoughts become your actions, and your actions become your results. Stop calling yourself lazy, unlucky, broke. Your subconscious is always listening and it believes you. You're not lazy, you're uninspired. You're not lost, you're just early in your story. You're not behind, you're just in the loading phase. A young man once asked, "How can I think positive when my life is hard?" I told him, "You don't think positive because life is easy. You think positive so you can survive when it's hard." He started journaling, reading, and feeding his mind new ideas. 3 months later, he told me, "My problems are still there, but I see them differently now." That's what mindset does. It doesn't remove pain. It gives you the power to control it. Ladies and gentlemen, your mind is your home. Stop letting toxic thoughts live there, rent-free. Stop replaying mistakes that no longer exist. Start planting thoughts that make you stronger, calmer, smarter. Because when your mindset changes, your habits change. When your habits change, your results change. And when your results change, your life resets. Month 3 is about building a new inner voice, one that believes you can. Because next month, in month 4, we're going to build something visible, your skills and your strength. That's when your outer world starts matching your inner growth. Ladies and gentlemen, if the first 3 months were about cleaning, organizing, and thinking, then month 4 is about doing. This is the month where you stop preparing and start performing. Because motivation feels good, but skill pays bills. You can't reset your life by just reading quotes. You must upgrade your value. The truth is, the world doesn't pay you for what you dream. It pays you for what you can do. And this month, we make sure you can do something powerful. Everybody says, "I want a better life." Okay, better at what? People want money, success, freedom, but they forget. All 3 are built on one foundation, skills. If you can communicate, sell, lead, code, edit videos, design, or solve problems, you'll never stay broke. But if your only skill is scrolling fast, then your thumb is the only thing getting exercise. So this month, it's time to get serious. You'll choose one skill, just one, and start building it like your life depends on it. Because it does. First, pick your power skill. Something that grows with time. Communication, sales, editing, coding, design, public speaking, digital marketing. Choose one, not 10. One. Because focus beats everything. Second, commit to 1 hour daily. Just 1 hour every day. That's 30 hours a month. In 6 months, you'll be ahead of 95% of people still saying, "I'll start someday." Third, track your progress. Don't chase perfection. Chase progress. Record your work. Note your improvements. Celebrate small wins. Fourth, improve your health. Your body is your factory. If it shuts down, so does everything else. Sleep early, drink water, move daily. You don't need a gym. Your body is already one. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't become great by luck. He trained harder than talent. While others rested, he practiced. Now, even at 39, he's still faster than players half his age. That's skill plus strength. Arnold Schwarzenegger once said, "The last 3 reps are what make the muscle grow." This area of pain divides the champion from the ordinary. Even Elon Musk learned rocket science by reading books. He didn't wait for luck. He built his skill until he could build rockets. Don't say, "I don't have time." If you have time to check your ex's story, you have time to check your progress. Replace 1 hour of Netflix with 1 hour of learning. In 6 months, you'll be unrecognizable. Want confidence? Build competence. Because nothing feels better than saying, "I worked for this. I earned this." Ladies and gentlemen, building skills is not just about money. It's about identity. When you get better at something, your confidence returns. You stop feeling like a victim and start feeling like a builder. Your skill becomes your superpower. It opens doors, creates respect, and gives you choices. And when you have choices, you have freedom. But remember, your body is your vehicle. You can't drive your dreams in a broken engine. So take care of it. Eat better, sleep right, stretch, walk. A healthy mind lives in a healthy body. I once met a guy who said, "I'm not talented at anything." I told him, "Good. That means you can learn everything." He started practicing design 1 hour a day after work. 3 months later, he got his first client. 6 months later, he quit his job. Now he earns more than his old boss. He didn't change his luck. He changed his skill level. So ladies and gentlemen, month 4 is your transformation month. Train your mind in the morning. Train your skill in the afternoon. Train your body at night. Because confidence is built, not born. You cleaned your chaos in month 1. built your routine in month 2, reprogrammed your mind in month 3, and now you've built your skill and strength in month 4. Next month, we go silent. Because month 5 is not about learning or cleaning, it's about proving yourself through consistency and silence. That's when the world starts noticing, without you saying a word. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the month where most people give up. You've been doing everything right, waking up early, working hard, learning new skills, but somehow it feels like nothing's changing. You look in the mirror and think, why am I not there yet? And this is where your old life tries to pull you back. Your mind whispers, maybe it's not working. But remember, silence is not failure. Silence is progress in disguise. Month 5 is the quiet storm. You don't make noise, you make moves. Ever noticed when you start improving, people suddenly disappear? Your phone gets quieter. No one's clapping anymore. The same friends who used to say, I believe in you, now say, you've changed. Of course you changed. That was the point. You'll realize this month that growth is lonely, because success requires silence. You don't see the seed complaining under the soil, it just grows in silence. This is your invisible month. No results yet, no applause, no validation. But deep inside, something is building. Your discipline, your mental toughness, your focus, all are being forged in fire. Everyone loves success, but very few love the silence that creates it. You'll want to quit, but that's the exact moment you must stay. Because the magic is about to happen right after the moment you feel like giving up. First, go into silent mode. Stop explaining your plan to people who don't get it. You don't need approval, you need progress. Stay low-key. Let your success make the noise later. Second, repeat your system daily. Same wake-up time, same study or gym hour, same focus. Don't look for excitement, look for consistency. Ordinary days build extraordinary lives. Third, avoid comparisons. Everyone blooms at a different speed. Comparing your day 100 to someone's day 1000 is suicide for your motivation. Fourth, build internal peace. Meditate, walk, reflect. Silence the noise outside so you can hear the voice inside. Look at Michael Jordan. He practiced more hours than anyone, often when no one was watching. That's why everyone watches him now. Steve Jobs disappeared for years after being fired from Apple. He didn't complain, he went silent. Built Next and Pixar and came back stronger. Even Taylor Swift disappeared for a year after all the media drama. She came back with her most powerful album ever. Silence doesn't mean you're losing. It means you're loading. Your friends might think you've gone crazy. You don't come out anymore. You're so serious now. Yes. Because while they're busy being entertained, you're busy being transformed. It's like downloading a new version of your life. It's 95% complete. Don't shut it down now. Month 5 is boring, but that's what makes it powerful. Consistency is boring, but boring builds billionaires. Ladies and gentlemen, silence is your shield. Every moment you spend in quiet focus, you're building a life others will one day admire. The best stories are written in private and told in public later. The world won't understand you right now, but they'll clap for you later. You just have to survive this silent phase. This is where champions are made. Your progress is like sunrise. It happens slowly, then all at once. So remember, month 5 is not about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving yourself right. When no one's watching, when no one's cheering, when no one believes, keep going. Because month 6, that's when everything changes. That's when your results start speaking louder than your words. That's when you'll realize you didn't just reset your life, you rebuilt your identity. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. If you've made it this far, you've already done something that most people never do. You stayed, you fought your distractions, your laziness, your doubt, and you survived the silent phase. And now, welcome to month 6, the transformation month. This is where everything finally starts to make sense. This is where you see what consistency really looks like, not in dreams, but in the mirror. Something feels different now, doesn't it? You wake up earlier, not because you have to, but because you want to. You think clearly, you move with purpose, and you've stopped wasting energy on things that don't grow you. That's what a reset feels like. Calm confidence. The old you lived on autopilot. The new you drives with direction. Remember that lazy version of you from 6 months ago? The one who said, I'll start Monday? He's gone. Buried under 180 days of effort. You've built new habits, new thoughts, new strength. Now people start noticing. They say, you've changed. And you smile and say, yes, that was the goal. See, transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens quietly every night. In those moments when you refuse to give up, when you chose to learn instead of scroll, to walk instead of sleep, to focus instead of complain. Now your body has changed, your confidence has changed, your discipline has changed, but most importantly, your mindset has changed. You stopped chasing motivation and started building momentum. You stopped waiting for luck and started creating opportunity. That's the new you. Someone who no longer waits for permission to grow. Think about Robert Downey Jr., once broken, addicted, forgotten, but he rebuilt himself. He didn't just come back, he came back as Iron Man. Or Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison. Most people would have come out bitter. He came out better, calm, wise, unstoppable. Transformation is not about changing your circumstances. It's about changing your character. When your mind changes, your life follows. Maybe you're not famous. Maybe no one clapped for your progress. But think about it. You've learned to control your phone instead of your phone controlling you. You've learned to manage your money instead of chasing it. You've learned to choose peace over drama. That's real success. You might not be rich yet, but you're free. And that's worth more than gold. Ladies and gentlemen, month 6 isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you to settle. You faced your chaos, built your routine, reprogrammed your mind, mastered your skill, survived your silence, and now you've transformed. You didn't just reset your life, you rewrote it. Your energy is different now. You don't chase, you attract. You don't wait, you work. You don't wish, you plan. 6 months ago, you were stuck, confused, and tired. Now, you are focused, disciplined, and unstoppable. You prove that you don't need a new year, a lucky break, or anyone's approval. You just need 6 good months of discipline, silence, and belief. And if you could do this in 6 months, imagine what you can do in a year. So ladies and gentlemen, reset your life. Because your future is not waiting for motivation, it's waiting for you. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, my future CEOs, my future leaders, my future millionaires, yes, I am talking to you. Don't look left, don't look right, I mean you. Because 10 years from now, someone sitting here will be running a company, and someone else will still be complaining about their boss. And the only difference will not be money, not family, not education, it will be mindset. Now let me ask you, why is it that 2 people, same school, same teacher, same city, after 10 years, one is driving the car and the other is opening the door for him? Why is it that 2 friends, same background, same age, same struggles, one becomes the boss and the other is still asking the boss for a raise? It is not luck, it is not education, it is not family, it is mindset. A poor mindset says, what if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I lose everything? A rich mindset says, what if I succeed? What will I learn if I fail? What can I build from nothing? A poor mindset says, I can't afford it. A rich mindset says, I'll create the right time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's the truth. Poverty is not having an empty pocket. Poverty is having an empty mind. Because if you give a poor mindset $10,000, they will waste it in months. But if you take everything away from a rich mindset, money, contacts, resources, they will rebuild it in years. How many of you have had a big idea before? Maybe a business, a dream, something you really believed in. At first, your heart was beating fast. You thought, this could change my life. But then that little voice came, no, what if it fails? No, you're not smart enough. No, people will laugh. And what did you do? You killed your own dream before the world even had a chance to reject it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the poor mindset speaking. But maybe once in your life you ignored that voice. You said, yes, maybe I will fail. But what if I succeed? Yes, maybe people will laugh, but one day they will clap. Yes, maybe I don't know everything, but I can learn. And when you acted on that thought, maybe you failed, maybe you succeeded. But either way, you grew, you learned, you became stronger. That is the rich mindset. Ladies and gentlemen, my future leaders, here is what schools, governments, even parents don't always tell you. The rich and the poor are not separated by money. They are separated by thinking. Poor mindset people wait for opportunities. Rich mindset people create opportunities. Poor mindset people focus on problems. Rich mindset people focus on solutions. Poor mindset people say, why me? Rich mindset people say, why not me? And that, my friends, is why some people move ahead in life while others stay in the same place forever. So before we go any further, I want to challenge you. Stop for a moment and ask yourself honestly, do I complain more than I create? Do I wait more than I act? Do I see risk as a threat or as an opportunity? Because if you are honest, the answer to those questions will reveal your future more clearly than your bank account today. Ladies and gentlemen, the difference between rich and poor does not start with money. It starts with mindset. And if you can change your mindset, you can change your future. This is the first big truth of success. Let me tell you a story. There were two boys, same street, same school, same background. They grew up together, shared the same struggles, even dreamed together. But 10 years later, their lives looked completely different. One of them was still stuck, complaining, waiting, blaming everyone but himself. The other was building something of his own, failing many times, but always rising stronger. What happened? How can two people with the same start end up with such different results? The answer is simple. Mindset. The first boy always had reasons. He would say, I cannot start, I don't have money, I cannot risk. What if I fail? I cannot try. People will laugh. Every year, new excuses. One year he said the economy is bad. The next year he said the government is bad. Another year he said his family situation is bad. He became an expert at waiting, an expert at blaming, an expert at complaining. And ladies and gentlemen, the more you practice complaining, the better you get at it. Excuses are free, so poor mindset people collect them like treasures. But the second boy thought differently. He had the same struggles, no money, no contacts, no experience. But he told himself, I may not have money, but I can learn. I may not know anyone, but I can build relationships. I may fail, but I will learn and I will try again. So while his friend waited, he started small. He read books others ignored. He worked for free just to learn from people smarter than him. He sold little things, made mistakes, lost money. But every time he failed, he asked, what can I do better? He didn't wait for opportunity to come. He created it. He didn't complain about the economy. He looked for gaps in the economy. He didn't say, why me? He said, why not me? Now fast forward 10 years. The first boy was still in the same place. Still waiting, still hoping, still saying, if only I had money, I would succeed. If only I had contacts, I would succeed. If only someone gave me a chance, I would succeed. But nothing changed because his mindset never changed. The second boy, he was not perfect. He failed many times. He was laughed at. He made mistakes, but he never stopped moving. And with every failure, he gained something more valuable than money. He gained experience. He gained wisdom. He gained courage. And eventually he succeeded. Now let me ask you something. Which boy do you sound like in your daily life? When you face problems, do you react like the first boy and say, I can't, I won't, it's too hard? Or do you react like the second boy and say, I will try, I will learn, I will make it happen? Because the truth is, the distance between success and failure is not measured in money or education. It is measured in mindset. One chose excuses, the other chose action. One chose fear, the other chose courage. One chose to wait, the other chose to start. And here's the painful reality. If you keep waiting for the perfect time 10 years from now, you will still be waiting. There is no perfect time. There is only now. The boy who acted knew this. The boy who waited never understood it. So my friends, my future leaders, the next time you feel afraid, the next time you feel like giving an excuse, remember these two boys. Ask yourself, do I want to be the one who spent his life waiting or the one who spent his life building? Do I want to be the one who complained or the one who created? Do I want to be the one who lived in fear or the one who lived with courage? Because in the end, both boys had the same chance. Both had the same start, but only one had the mindset to change his life. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the difference that will decide your future too. At this moment, you are standing at a crossroad. On one side is the mindset of fear, excuses, and waiting. On the other side is the mindset of courage, learning, and action. Every single day you are making a choice, even if you don't realize it. Some people believe success is about luck. They wait for the lucky day, the lucky opportunity, the lucky person who will come and change their life. But let me tell you something from experience. If you wait for luck, you will grow old waiting. Success is not about waiting for luck. Success is about preparing your mindset so that when opportunity arrives, you are ready. The truth is, opportunity doesn't knock loudly, it whispers. It hides in small things. It looks ordinary at first. Poor mindset people ignore it because they think it is too small. Rich mindset people grab it because they know small opportunities become big doors. Think about it. How many chances have you already ignored in your life because you were afraid? Because you thought it was not big enough? Because you thought you were not ready? How many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow? But tomorrow never comes. So today you must make a choice. Are you going to be the one who spends the next 10 years making excuses? Or are you going to be the one who spends the next 10 years trying, failing, learning, growing, and eventually winning? And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the choice is not made once in life. It is made every single morning when you wake up. Every morning you decide, do I complain or do I take action? Do I fear or do I try? Do I blame or do I learn? And that small choice repeated every day is what creates the big difference in life. So my friends, if you are listening to me now, I am not asking you to change overnight. I am asking you to take one step, make one decision, stop one excuse, start one small action. Because once you taste progress, once you feel the power of moving forward, you will never want to go back to waiting again. The boy who succeeded did not wake up one day and suddenly become great. He took small steps, he made daily choices, and those small choices built a destiny. That is the power of mindset. That is the power of daily choice. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be honest with you tonight. Not everyone will succeed. And it's not because they don't have talent, or because they don't have money, or because they don't have the right family. Many people fail simply because their mindset never allowed them to even begin. The harsh truth is this: poor mindset people will always find a reason to stay where they are. They will say, I'm too young. Later they will say, I'm too old. They will say, I don't have time. Later they will say, it's too late. And year after year, they will write the same story with different excuses. They don't need enemies. Their mindset is their biggest enemy. But those who succeed are not always smarter. They are not always stronger. They are not always luckier. They are simply the ones who refuse to let excuses control their lives. They failed more times than others even tried. They were laughed at, rejected, doubted, but they kept moving. Because they understood one thing: it is better to be laughed at while moving forward than to be pitied while standing still. So let me ask you a question. If 10 years from now you look back at your life, what will hurt more? The failures you experienced while trying, or the regrets you carry for not trying at all? Think about it. Failing is temporary. Regret is permanent. That is why mindset matters. Because it decides whether you are going to live with temporary pain or permanent regret. The rich mindset accepts the pain of failure. The poor mindset accepts the comfort of regret. Which one do you want? And here is another harsh truth. Nobody is coming to save you. Not the government, not the economy, not some miracle. The only person who can save you is the one you see in the mirror. And the weapon that person needs is not money, not luck, not contacts. It is mindset. So my future leaders, let me leave you with this thought. Life will always give you two choices: excuses or progress, fear or courage, waiting or starting, complaining or creating. If you choose excuses, life will give you more reasons to stay where you are. If you choose progress, life will open doors you never imagined existed. Your mindset is your greatest investment. Protect it, feed it, build it. Because one day, it will decide whether you are remembered as someone who waited or someone who created a future that others can only dream of.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know life is a funny game. Not chess, not cricket, not football. It's actually more like that childhood game, snake and ladder. And the older you get, the scarier it becomes. Because in childhood, if you fall from 99 to 7, you just cry for 2 minutes and start again. But in real life, when you fall, nobody gives you a new board. You have to climb again from where you are. Every morning when you wake up, you make one move on the board, one move up or one move down. And the funny thing is, the move feels so small, you don't even notice it. Like checking your phone for just 10 minutes. That's a snake. Drinking water as soon as you wake up, that's a ladder. Sleeping late watching reels, snake. Reading 10 pages, ladder. Talking to your toxic friend again, big snake. Saying no for the first time, ladder. The problem is, people think snakes are big, obvious disasters. No, the big snake is not failure. The big snake is the tiny bad habit you do every day that feels normal. Nobody gets destroyed by one huge mistake. They get destroyed by repeating small ones. Let me give you something relatable. Imagine someone trying to lose weight. On day 1, they say, from tomorrow, I'll change my life. Good, but the next morning, they order a burger because one day it's okay. That's the snake. You don't slide immediately. The fall is delayed. That's why we don't take it seriously. If life immediately punished you, you would stop. But snakes are slow, silent, and friendly at first. Look around today's world. You know what's the biggest snake? Scrolling before sleeping. Someone once said, I check my phone at night to relax my mind. My brother, your mind is not relaxing. It's downloading problems from 7 billion people. And then you wonder why you wake up tired. Snakes don't always look dangerous. Sometimes they wear colorful filters and trending audios. Let's talk about ladders. People think ladders are huge achievements, getting promoted, starting a business, buying a house. No, those are results. The real ladders are boring, tiny, almost invisible. Drinking water, reading 10 minutes, gym for 20 minutes, practicing a skill every night, helping your mother without complaining, waking up at the same time. Stuff so small, nobody will clap for it. But your future self will. Think about famous people today. They didn't jump from square one to 100. They climbed tiny ladders daily. The comedian who posts one video a day, even when nobody watches, that's a ladder. The entrepreneur who keeps improving his product, even when nobody buys, ladder. The student who studies 30 minutes extra while his friends are on Netflix, ladder. Every successful story you admire is actually a collection of small ladders hidden behind the highlights. And every downfall you see, celebrities going broke, influencers losing everything, people ruining their careers, those are not sudden. It's small snakes they ignored. Ego, laziness, wrong people, no discipline. It adds up. The funniest part? People blame the board. They say, my luck is bad. My family is not supportive. My country is the problem. Bro, the board is the same for everyone. Yes, some people start at square 10, some at square 1, but if you keep climbing ladders and avoiding snakes, you will reach 100 anyway. The only real difference is your daily move. Let me tell you something powerful. Your life is moving even when you feel stuck, because not choosing a ladder is choosing a snake. Some people say, but I didn't do anything today. Exactly. That's the problem. Doing nothing is also a move. It's a slow snake, the worst one. And here's the twist. Snakes are faster than ladders. One lazy week can ruin 6 months of progress. One stupid decision can set you back years. This is why your habits matter more than your dreams. Dreams tell you where you want to go. Habits decide whether you'll go at all. You know what's relatable? When you're climbing the ladder slowly and consistently, no one notices. No applause. No appreciation. You climb in silence. But the moment you slide down a snake, suddenly everyone sees it. That's how life works. Success is quiet. Failure is loud. There's a strange thing about life. It never shouts a warning. It whispers. Quietly. Politely. Like life is saying, be careful. Don't make that choice. But we ignore the whisper because we're waiting for a loud disaster. By the time the disaster hits, the snake has already eaten half of our progress. Think about it. Before someone fails an exam, there were hundreds of tiny skipped study sessions. Before someone goes bankrupt, there were months of small, repeated mistakes. Before a relationship ends badly, there were dozens of ignored conversations. Snakes don't jump at you suddenly. They slide in slowly, disguised as harmless habits. And ladders? Ladders don't show results immediately. That's why most people quit too early. Someone reads a book for 4 days and expects life to transform instantly. Someone exercises for 3 days and wonders why they don't have abs yet. Real progress is slow. Real ladders are boring. You climb them silently. Here's the funny part. We admire disciplined people, but don't want their lifestyle. We want their results, not the grind. We want their highlight reel, not their behind the scenes. Take Elon Musk, for example. You see him today and think he's just brilliant and lucky. But he worked 100 hours a week for years, slept on couches, failed rockets, almost went bankrupt multiple times. Those were his ladders. Meanwhile, scrolling social media late at night, snake. J.K. Rowling didn't become a household name overnight. Rejected by 12 publishers, living on welfare, raising a child alone, that was ladder after ladder. Now everyone sees the fame, money, and success, but ignores the countless small steps she took every day. Or Virat Kohli. People think he's naturally talented. The reality? Early mornings, long hours in practice, strict diet, pushing his body constantly. Every small effort was a ladder. Skipping practice or taking shortcuts, that's a snake. Snakes feel good in the moment. That's why they're dangerous. Watching TV for 3 hours feels relaxing. Snake. Skipping your skill practice feels easy. Snake. Immediate comfort, long-term damage. Ladders give discomfort, but long-term results. Reading, exercising, learning, building skills. Small discomfort now, massive reward later. Life gives you a choice of pain. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Most people choose regret because it doesn't hurt today. That delay fools them. Life isn't fair. Some people start with ladders already in place. Supportive parents, money, connections. Some people start with snakes, challenges, responsibilities, pressure. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty, faced abuse and hardship after hardship, snake after snake. She didn't give up. She climbed tiny ladders daily, learning, working, showing up, and became one of the most successful people in the world. Life isn't about speed. It's about direction. Slow people climbing ladders always beat fast people sliding down snakes. Always. So maybe you're not moving fast. Maybe you don't see results yet. Maybe others seem to be winning faster. Let them. You're climbing the right way. The right way isn't fastest. It's most consistent. Slow progress is still progress. Daily effort is still effort. Small habits still add up. The only question is, will you keep climbing when no one is watching? Because in this game, the real loser is the one who stops playing. Let's get practical for a moment. You've heard the stories, the snakes, the ladders. Now it's about your life. How do you climb ladders every day without feeling stuck or overwhelmed? First, small daily habits matter far more than huge leaps. You don't need a revolutionary idea to change your life. You need consistent small steps. Tiny, simple actions repeated over time build your future, and skipping them sets you back silently. Think about your mornings. Get up 30 minutes earlier than usual. Drink water. Stretch. Read something inspiring. That's a ladder. Hit snooze. Scroll your phone. Complain about being tired. That's a snake. Tiny difference. Massive long-term effect. Learning is another ladder. Every day, learn something new, a skill, a concept, or even a small insight. Small doses of knowledge compound. Ignoring it feels harmless today, but over months and years, it becomes a snake that slows you down. Health is another game of ladders and snakes. Exercise even a little. Move your body. Sleep enough. Eat intentionally. The difference between small daily care and neglect may seem invisible now, but your future self will thank you or regret it. Your social environment matters too. The people around you can lift you or pull you down. Being around people who inspire you, challenge you, and push you forward, ladder. Spending time with those who complain, distract, or drain your energy, snake. And finances, it's the same. Small savings, small investments, mindful spending, that's a ladder. Overspending, ignoring the future. Ladies and gentlemen, you know life is a funny game. Not chess, not cricket, not football. It's actually more like that childhood game, snake and ladder. And the older you get, the scarier it becomes. Because in childhood, if you fall from 99 to 7, you just cry for 2 minutes and start again. But in real life, when you fall, nobody gives you a new board. You have to climb again from where you are. Every morning when you wake up, you make one move on the board, one move up or one move down. And the funny thing is, the move feels so small, you don't even notice it. Like checking your phone for just 10 minutes. That's a snake. Drinking water as soon as you wake up, that's a ladder. Sleeping late watching reels, snake. Reading 10 pages, ladder. Talking to your toxic friend again, big snake. Saying no for the first time, ladder. The problem is, people think snakes are big, obvious disasters. No, the big snake is not failure. The big snake is the tiny bad habit you do every day that feels normal. Nobody gets destroyed by one huge mistake. They get destroyed by repeating small ones. Let me give you something relatable. Imagine someone trying to lose weight. On day 1, they say, from tomorrow, I'll change my life. Good, but the next morning, they order a burger because one day it's okay. That's the snake. You don't slide immediately. The fall is delayed. That's why we don't take it seriously. If life immediately punished you, you would stop. But snakes are slow, silent, and friendly at first. Look around today's world. You know what's the biggest snake? Scrolling before sleeping. Someone once said, I check my phone at night to relax my mind. My brother, your mind is not relaxing. It's downloading problems from 7 billion people. And then you wonder why you wake up tired. Snakes don't always look dangerous. Sometimes they wear colorful filters and trending audios. Let's talk about ladders. People think ladders are huge achievements. Getting promoted, starting a business, buying a house. No, those are results. The real ladders are boring, tiny, almost invisible. Drinking water, reading 10 minutes, Gym for 20 minutes, practicing a skill every night, helping your mother without complaining, waking up at the same time. Stuff so small, nobody will clap for it. But your future self will. Think about famous people today. They didn't jump from square one to 100. They climbed tiny ladders daily. The comedian who posts one video a day, even when nobody watches, that's a ladder. The entrepreneur who keeps improving his product, even when nobody buys, ladder. The student who studies 30 minutes extra while his friends are on Netflix, ladder. Every successful story you admire is actually a collection of small ladders hidden behind the highlights. And every downfall you see, celebrities going broke, influencers losing everything, people ruining their careers, those are not sudden. It's small snakes they ignored. Ego, laziness, wrong people, no discipline. It adds up. The funniest part? People blame the board. They say, my luck is bad. My family is not supportive. My country is the problem. Bro, the board is the same for everyone. Yes, some people start at square 10, some at square 1. But if you keep climbing ladders and avoiding snakes, you will reach 100 anyway. The only real difference is your daily move. Let me tell you something powerful. Your life is moving even when you feel stuck. Because not choosing a ladder is choosing a snake. Some people say, but I didn't do anything today. Exactly. That's the problem. Doing nothing is also a move. It's a slow snake, the worst one. And here's the twist. Snakes are faster than ladders. One lazy week can ruin 6 months of progress. One stupid decision can set you back years. This is why your habits matter more than your dreams. Dreams tell you where you want to go. Habits decide whether you'll go at all. You know what's relatable? When you're climbing the ladder slowly and consistently, no one notices. No applause. No appreciation. You climb in silence. But the moment you slide down a snake, suddenly everyone sees it. That's how life works. Success is quiet. Failure is loud. There's a strange thing about life. It never shouts a warning. It whispers. Quietly. Politely. Like life is saying, be careful. Don't make that choice. But we ignore the whisper because we're waiting for a loud disaster. By the time the disaster hits, the snake has already eaten half of our progress. Think about it. Before someone fails an exam, there were hundreds of tiny skipped study sessions. Before someone goes bankrupt, there were months of small, repeated mistakes. Before a relationship ends badly, there were dozens of ignored conversations. Snakes don't jump at you suddenly. They slide in slowly, disguised as harmless habits. And ladders? Ladders don't show results immediately. That's why most people quit too early. Someone reads a book for 4 days and expects life to transform instantly. Someone exercises for 3 days and wonders why they don't have abs yet. Real progress is slow. Real ladders are boring. You climb them silently. Here's the funny part. We admire disciplined people, but don't want their lifestyle. We want their results, not the grind. We want their highlight reel, not their behind the scenes. Take Elon Musk, for example. You see him today and think he's just brilliant and lucky. But he worked 100 hours a week for years, slept on couches, failed rockets, almost went bankrupt multiple times. Those were his ladders. Meanwhile, scrolling social media late at night, snake. J.K. Rowling didn't become a household name overnight. Rejected by 12 publishers, living on welfare, raising a child alone, that was ladder after ladder. Now everyone sees the fame, money, and success, but ignores the countless small steps she took every day. Or Virat Kohli. People think he's naturally talented. The reality? Early mornings, long hours in practice, strict diet, pushing his body constantly. Every small effort was a ladder. Skipping practice or taking shortcuts, that's a snake. Snakes feel good in the moment. That's why they're dangerous. Watching TV for 3 hours feels relaxing. Snake. Skipping your skill practice feels easy. Snake. Immediate comfort, long-term damage. Ladders give discomfort, but long-term results. Reading, exercising, learning, building skills. Small discomfort now, massive reward later. Life gives you a choice of pain. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Most people choose regret because it doesn't hurt today. That delay fools them. Life isn't fair. Some people start with ladders already in place. Supportive parents, money, connections. Some people start with snakes, challenges, responsibilities, pressure. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty, faced abuse and hardship after hardship, snake after snake. She didn't give up. She climbed tiny ladders daily, learning, working, showing up, and became one of the most successful people in the world. Life isn't about speed. It's about direction. Slow people climbing ladders always beat fast people sliding down snakes. Always. So maybe you're not moving fast. Maybe you don't see results yet. Maybe others seem to be winning faster. Let them. You're climbing the right way. The right way isn't fastest. It's most consistent. Slow progress is still progress. Daily effort is still effort. Small habits still add up. The only question is, will you keep climbing when no one is watching? Because in this game, the real loser is the one who stops playing. Let's get practical for a moment. You've heard the stories, the snakes, the ladders. Now it's about your life. How do you climb ladders every day without feeling stuck or overwhelmed? First, small daily habits matter far more than huge leaps. You don't need a revolutionary idea to change your life. You need consistent. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a question that might hurt a little. Why does your money disappear faster than your phone battery? When you're watching TikTok on full brightness, have you noticed this? You start the month like a king. Yes, I will save. Yes, I will budget. Yes, I will be financially responsible. And by the 12th of the month, you're Googling, is it healthy to eat noodles for 10 days straight? We laugh, but this is the quiet tragedy of our generation. Our money doesn't leave loudly. It escapes silently. It doesn't shout, I'm going. It just packs its bags and slips out while you're scrolling reels. Today, I want to talk about 5 money habits that quietly ruin your life. They don't break the door. They don't fight you. They just live with you like a toxic roommate, smiling every morning while stealing your salary from your back pocket. And the first one, oh, this one is the most dangerous, the I deserve it habit. Tell me honestly, how many times have you said this? You're tired from work. I deserve a treat. Your boss yelled at you. I deserve a treat. You sent one email after procrastinating for 3 hours. Wow, so productive. I deserve a treat. We have turned self-care into self-destruction. This habit looks harmless because it feels good. You buy the slightly expensive coffee instead of the normal one. I deserve it. You're buying clothes you don't need. I deserve it. You're buying gadgets you don't even understand. I deeply, emotionally, spiritually deserve it. A friend of mine recently bought the new iPhone 17 Pro Max. Not because he needed it. Not because his old phone was broken. Not because he runs a business or creates content. No, he bought it because he said one magical sentence, I deserve it. I asked him, what feature do you need the most? He said, bro, the camera. I said, you don't even take pictures. He said, still, I deserve it. Guess what happened? He bought it on installments. Now every month he pays the phone bill with the same face people make right before crying. And the funniest part, the most advanced feature he uses is the flashlight. A flashlight that cost him 24 months of stress. This habit ruins your life because it never feels wrong. It feels like a reward. It feels like love. But actually, it's one of the biggest traps. Because the moment you make money, your emotional band-aid, money stops working for you and starts working against you. It's like giving your wallet to a toddler. He won't steal it. He'll just waste it. And the worst part, every time you reward yourself emotionally, you push your goals further away. You say you want to save. You say you want to invest. You say you want to build something great. But the tiny I deserve it voice eats those dreams one small purchase at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you the truth. The money you waste quietly today becomes the opportunity you cry for loudly tomorrow. So the first habit that quietly ruins your life is this: spending emotionally and justifying it logically. You don't need to stop buying things. You need to stop buying excuses. And when you fix this one habit, you'll finally start seeing where your money actually goes and why it runs away from you. Ladies and gentlemen, if the first habit was emotional destruction, the second one is silent self-sabotage disguised as logic. It sounds smart, it feels mature, but it slowly kills your financial life. Let's talk about it. Habit 2, I will start saving when I earn more. This is the lie almost every person tells themselves. You say things like, when my salary increases, then I'll save. When my business grows, then I'll save. When life gets stable, then I'll save. When I hit my goals, then I'll save. Let me give you a fact that might shake you. If you can't save from 10,000, you won't magically save from 1 million. Because saving is not about income. It's about discipline. Let me give you something extremely relatable. There's a guy I know, let's call him David. He used to earn very little, and he always said, bro, when I start making big money, I'll start saving like a pro. Then he got a huge salary jump. Guess what happened? He didn't save, he upgraded. He upgraded his food, he upgraded his clothes, he upgraded his weekends, he even upgraded his toothpaste. This one has Himalayan pink salt. My teeth deserve luxury. His income increased, but his expenses increased double. And he ended up in the same situation every month, broke, stressed, confused, wondering where the money went. The same cycle, just more expensive. Let me give you a famous example. There are countless stories of superstar athletes or celebrities who earned millions and still went broke. Why? Not because they didn't earn enough, because they didn't develop the habit of managing money when they earned little. One of the most famous examples is Mike Tyson. He earned around $300 million in his career, $300 million, and still went bankrupt. Not because of low income, because of zero financial habit. Ladies and gentlemen, more money does not fix bad habits. It multiplies them. If you can't control $1,000, you won't control $1 million. The number changes. The behavior doesn't. Saying, I'll save when I earn more, is like saying, I'll start working out once I magically become fit. Life doesn't work like that. Building wealth starts with the first small amount you keep aside, even if it's tiny, even if it's embarrassing. Your financial future is not built by your income. It's built by your consistency. The people who win financially are not the ones who earn the most, but the ones who save first and spend later. Not the ones who spend first and hope miracles happen later. Ladies and gentlemen, if the last habit was about delaying responsibility, this next habit is about pretending to be rich before you actually are. This is the habit that destroys more wallets, more dreams, and more peace than anything else. Habit no. 3, competing with people who aren't even thinking about you. Let me explain. There is a strange pressure in our generation. Everyone wants to look successful before actually becoming successful. Your friend buys new shoes. You start thinking your shoes are embarrassing. Someone posts a fancy dinner on Instagram. Suddenly your home food looks like prison food. Someone upgrades to a new car, and now your car feels like a motorbike with 4 wheels. And the worst part? We don't even compete because we want those things. We compete because we want to prove something. Let me tell you a very relatable story. A guy I know saw his colleague get a brand new laptop. The latest, fastest, fanciest. Instantly, he felt insecure. Next day, he walked into the store and bought a laptop, even more expensive. Not because he needed it. Not because his old one was broken. Just because he didn't want to look behind. Now guess what? His bank account is behind. His savings are behind. His peace is behind. But his ego, very satisfied. This is the tragedy of this habit. You spend money you don't have to impress people you don't even like for reasons you don't even understand. Let me give you a famous example. Do you know how many Hollywood celebrities went broke because of this exact habit? One of the most famous cases is 50 Cent. He made millions, but spent even more. Not for necessity, but to keep up with the lifestyle of other celebrities. Huge mansions, expensive cars, luxury parties, all to match people who weren't even thinking about him. And eventually, he had to file for bankruptcy. Competing with others is the fastest way to destroy your finances. Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. Your journey is not a race, it's a timeline. And timelines can't be compared. Just because your friend bought a new phone doesn't mean you need one. Just because someone posts a vacation doesn't mean you failed. Just because someone bought a car doesn't mean your bike is shameful. The only competition you should have is with the person you were last month. But the real danger of this habit is this: the people you compete with don't care. You're hurting yourself while they're sleeping peacefully. When you stop competing with the world, you finally start building your own world. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, looking rich is expensive. Becoming rich is silent. Ladies and gentlemen, if the last habit drained your wallet in silence, this next habit destroys something far more valuable. Your opportunities before they are even born. Because this isn't about money leaving your pocket. This is about money never entering your pocket in the first place. Habit number 4, saying, I'll learn it later. This is one of the most destructive habits of our generation. Not laziness, not fear, but comfort. Let me explain. We live in the easiest era to learn anything. You open YouTube, free knowledge. You open Google, free knowledge. You open your phone, millions of opportunities. And yet, we scroll, we watch memes, we binge shows, we stalk people's profiles, and the mind keeps whispering, I'll learn that skill later, I'll start tomorrow, I'll focus when I have time, I'll begin when I feel ready. Ladies and gentlemen, the later you're waiting for has been killing your now for years. Let me give you a relatable example. There's a guy I know who wanted to start freelancing. Every month he said, bro, I'll learn graphic design next week. Promise. Next week came, then the next, then the next. Finally, 2 years passed. Do you know what happened? His friend, who started with zero knowledge, zero talent, and zero confidence, is now earning more than him. Why? Not because he was smarter, not because he was more talented, but because he started. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards action. Look at Warren Buffett. One of the richest men alive said something powerful. The best investment you can make is in yourself. And he wasn't talking about cars, phones, or luxury. He was talking about learning skills, learning knowledge, learning how to grow. Every rich person you see today is not rich because they owned expensive things. They're rich because they learned valuable things. They built skills that made them money while others were busy saying, I'll learn later. Ladies and gentlemen, later is the most expensive word in the world because every time you say it, you are pushing your opportunities, your future income, your growth, your freedom further away. Think about this. How many times have you said, I'll learn video editing later. I'll understand investing later. I'll improve my English later. I'll start my side hustle later. And now look at your life. Most of the things you have today are the results of something you learned years ago. And most of the things you don't have today are because you kept delaying the learning that could have changed your life. Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest financial loss is not money spent. It's money never earned because you refuse to level up. Your skills are seeds, but if you never plant them, how will you ever grow a forest? People think money comes from a job. No, money comes from your value. Your value comes from your skills. Your skills come from your learning, and your learning comes from your discipline, not your mood. So here's the truth. Every day you delay learning, you delay earning. Ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about the habits that drain your money, distract your focus, and delay your growth. But this last habit, this one is the quiet life destroyer. The one that doesn't just ruin your finances, it ruins your confidence, your discipline, your dreams, and your future. Habit number 5, giving up too early because you want quick results. This habit is so silent, so normal, so accepted by everyone around you, that people don't even realize it's destroying their entire life. Let me explain. We live in a world where everything is instant, instant food, instant replies, instant entertainment, instant validation. So people also expect instant success. You start a side hustle, no customers in 2 weeks, it's not working. You start investing, no profits in a month, this is useless. You start a YouTube channel, no views in 3 videos, maybe this isn't for me. You start a skill, it's difficult for the first few days. I don't think I'm talented. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing great in life happens instantly. Nothing. But this habit, quitting early, feels so logical. You convince yourself you're saving time, you're avoiding failure, you're choosing something better. No, you're choosing something easier. Let me give you a relatable example. A guy I know started a small online business. For 1 month he worked hard, posted daily, learned marketing, improved his product. But the results were slow, so he quit. One of his friends started the same type of business. Not better, not smarter, not more talented, but he stayed consistent. After 8 months, that friend is now making 5 times his old salary. The only difference? One quit early. One kept going. Let me give you a famous example too. Everyone knows Jackie Chan today. But very few know that he worked for years in small action roles, got rejected hundreds of times, and at one point lived in a tiny room with no money. But he didn't quit. He didn't expect instant results. He trusted the process. And that consistency made him a global icon. Now let me tell you something powerful. Your dreams don't need talent. They need time. Your goals don't need perfection. They need consistency. Your future doesn't need luck. It needs patience. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they stop too soon. Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. There is always a reward waiting after consistency. But most people quit right before they reach it. Some of you are just 1 month away from success. Some of you are 1 client away. Some of you are 1 skill away. Some of you are one brave decision away, but the habit of wanting quick results turns you back just inches before the finish line. Your financial life won't change in one day, but it will change if you stop quitting every time things get slow. Because the truth is simple, slow success is still success, fast quitting is still quitting. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want to protect your money, your future, your peace, your dreams, fix this last habit. Stay longer than your doubt. Stay longer than your fear. Stay longer than the obstacles. Stay until you grow. Because the day you stop quitting early is the day your entire life starts winning. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. How many times have you said, I'll stop doing this from tomorrow? And then when tomorrow came, you said the same thing again. That's the problem with bad habits. They don't knock on your door like a thief. They slowly move into your life like an uninvited guest. At first, they seem harmless, even comforting. You say, it's okay, I deserve a little break. But before you know it, that little break becomes a lifestyle. I've seen so many talented, smart people lose years, not because they lacked skills or intelligence, but because they couldn't break their bad habits. Habits like procrastination, wasting time, negative thinking, sleeping late, eating junk, or constantly comparing themselves to others. And the most dangerous thing about bad habits, they don't feel bad in the beginning. They feel nice. That's the trap. It's like sugar, sweet today, sickness tomorrow. So today, I will tell you 5 ways to break your bad habits. Now, let's talk about the first way to break bad habits before they break you. 1. Face the habit. Don't hide from it. You can't fix what you keep pretending doesn't exist. Most people don't break bad habits because they never admit they have them. They defend them, they make them look logical. I'm not lazy, I'm just waiting for the right time. I'm not addicted to my phone, I'm just staying updated. I'm not negative, I'm just realistic. No, you're not. You're lying to yourself. And the truth is, until you face the problem, you can't change it. Let me tell you something funny. One of my friends once said, I can quit scrolling anytime I want. So I told him, okay, then stop for 1 day. He said, today's not a good day. I said, exactly, every day is not a good day when you're addicted. The first way to break a bad habit is to call it by its name. Don't give it fancy titles. If you procrastinate, say it. If you overeat, admit it. If you gossip, waste time, or keep blaming others, own it. Because the moment you admit your weakness, you take its power away. See, awareness is like switching on a light in a dark room. The moment you see what's wrong, you can finally start cleaning it. But as long as you keep the lights off, you'll keep tripping over the same mess. So here's what you do tonight. Grab a notebook and write down 3 bad habits that you know are silently breaking you. Be honest, even if it hurts, because honesty is the first medicine for change. Once you face your bad habits, you'll realize something powerful. They only had power because you were hiding them. When you expose them to light, they lose their control. Remember, you can't fight an invisible enemy, so stop pretending everything's fine. Admit it, face it, and promise yourself this. I will no longer let what's comfortable destroy what's possible. That's how real transformation begins. Not with motivation, but with truth. Now, once you've faced your habits, the next step is learning how to rewire them. To replace what's killing your growth with something that fuels it. And that's where the second way comes in. Ladies and gentlemen, once you've faced your bad habits and you've stopped lying to yourself about them, the next step begins. And let me tell you, this is where most people mess up. Because the moment you admit your bad habit, your brain immediately says, okay, I'll just stop doing it. That's like saying, I'll stop eating sugar from tomorrow. And then the next morning, you're standing in front of the fridge, staring at a slice of cake like it's your soulmate. See, here's the truth. You can't just stop a bad habit. You have to replace it. That's the second way to break bad habits before they break you. Replace the bad habit with a better one, not with boredom. Because if you remove something you enjoy and replace it with nothing, your brain will start a protest. You'll say, I'm quitting Netflix to be more productive. And 10 minutes later, you're watching YouTube videos on how to be more productive. I had a friend who said, I'm quitting my phone addiction. I said, great, what will you do instead? He said, nothing. 2 hours later, he was scrolling through his fridge like it was Instagram, opening and closing the door, hoping something new appeared. That's the problem. Most people fight bad habits with empty space. You can't fight habit with nothingness. You have to give your mind a new toy, a new pattern, something better to feed on. If you waste time scrolling, replace that habit with something that still gives you dopamine. Maybe short walks, music, journaling, reading 10 minutes of something inspiring, or watching videos that actually build your mindset, not just your entertainment appetite. If you eat junk every night, don't just say, "I'll stop eating." Replace it with something that feels good and fuels you, like fruit, smoothie, or even homemade snacks. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. You can't delete a bad habit. You must outgrow it. You must make it boring compared to your new lifestyle. Think of it like this. If your bad habit is the wrong person in your life, your new habit is the upgrade. You don't just leave someone toxic and stay lonely forever. You level up, you find peace, purpose, or a better focus that keeps you busy enough not to miss what was breaking you. Let me share something funny but true. When you stop giving time to bad habits, you suddenly realize how long the day actually is. You'll be like, wait, it's only 2 p.m. What do people even do all day? That's when you realize how much time your habits were stealing from you. Quietly, hour by hour, excuse by excuse. So the trick is simple. Every time you remove a bad habit, have a replacement ready. Stop saying no to something. Start saying yes to something better. Because if you don't give your mind a new direction, it will go back to the old one. Here's a small exercise you can do. Take one bad habit you've written down, and next to it, write a replacement habit. For example, instead of scrolling at night, read 10 pages of a book. Instead of junk food, one healthy snack. Instead of complaining, writing down one thing you're grateful for. Small swaps build big results. That's how habits change. Not overnight, but choice by choice. And slowly your brain will start liking the new you more than the old you. Because the new you will feel better, think clearer, and sleep more peacefully. Remember, bad habits don't die, they get replaced. And once your new habits start giving you more joy than your old ones, the battle is over. Now that you know how to replace the poison with purpose, let's talk about the third way. How to train your environment so your bad habits never find their way back into your life. Ladies and gentlemen, you've faced your bad habits. You've started replacing them. But now it's time to talk about something that silently decides whether you'll win or lose. Your environment. Let's be honest. Your environment is like Wi-Fi. If it's weak, no matter how good your phone is, you can't connect to anything. Most people fail to break bad habits, not because they lack motivation, but because their surroundings are perfectly designed for those habits to survive. That's the third way to break bad habits before they break you. Change your environment. Make it impossible for your bad habits to breathe. Let me give you a simple example. You can't stop binge-watching shows if Netflix keeps autoplaying like it's desperate for your attention. Turn off autoplay. Suddenly your brain gets 5 seconds to ask, should I really watch another one? That pause is your power. You can't stop scrolling if your phone is always in your hand. Put it in another room. Or give it to someone in your family and say, don't give it back until I finish this task. You'll be shocked how productive you become when your phone is held hostage. Or take this. I met a young guy who said, I keep eating junk food every night. I can't stop. I said, show me your kitchen. He had chips, sodas, cookies. It looked like a mini supermarket. I told him, of course you can't stop. You've built a fast food branch inside your house. A week later, he texted me. I threw it all away and replaced it with fruit and yogurt. 2 weeks later, he lost 3 kilos. You see, sometimes your progress is waiting for you in your trash bin. Another example. A girl I met wanted to focus on studying, but said her friends kept distracting her. I told her, then stop studying with people who talk more than they read. She laughed, but the next month she found a library, new study group, and her grades went up. Because energy is contagious. If your friends are lazy, you'll catch laziness. If they're disciplined, you'll catch focus. Your environment isn't just your room, it's also your people, your routine, your digital space. If you follow 10 negative pages on social media, don't be surprised if you start thinking negatively. Unfollow what drains you, follow what fuels you. Even small tweaks help. Want to work out? Put your gym shoes where you can see them. Want to read more? Keep a book on your pillow, not your phone. Want to wake up early? Schedule your alarm to play your favorite hype song instead of that heart attack sound effect. You don't have to rely on willpower if your environment pushes you forward automatically. Here's a small test. Walk around your room and ask, is this place designed for the person I want to become? If not, start changing it, one corner at a time. Because the truth is, you don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your environment. So build an environment that makes your goals feel natural, where success feels easy and bad habits feel awkward. Once your surroundings start working for you instead of against you, you'll stop fighting yourself every day. You'll start feeling like progress is happening by default. And once that happens, you're ready for the next step, building a mindset that keeps you strong, even when life tries to pull you back. Ladies and gentlemen, you can fix your habits. You can fix your environment. But if you don't fix your mindset, your old habits will always find a way back. Because let's be honest, bad habits don't just live in your hands or your phone, they live in your head. They're built out of your thoughts, your excuses, and that little voice that keeps whispering, it's okay, you deserve a break. That's how most people fall back. They win the battle outside, but lose the one inside. So the fourth way to break bad habits before they break you is this. Reprogram your mind. Think like the person you want to become, not the person you're trying to escape. Here's the truth. Every action starts with a thought. You can't change your life if you keep thinking like the old you. If your mind says, I'm just not consistent, then guess what? You'll keep proving yourself right. You need to flip the narrative. Start speaking like the future you. Say, I'm the kind of person who finishes what I start. Say, I'm disciplined. Even if you don't fully believe it yet, your brain listens to repetition more than reality. You ever notice how we're experts at negative self-talk? We fail one small thing and immediately go, ooh, I'm useless. But when we do something good, we say, it's nothing. Stop it. You're training your brain to celebrate failure and ignore progress. I remember meeting a young man who said, I've tried to quit gaming 100 times, but I always fail. I told him, that's because you keep saying you're trying to quit. Try is a weak word. Decide. He looked confused. I said, when you decide, you don't leave space for negotiation. The next day, he uninstalled everything, gave his console to his cousin, and started learning coding. 6 months later, he built his first small app. I asked him how he did it. He said, I stopped trying to quit and started becoming someone new. That's mindset. And you don't have to be extreme. Start small. Every time your mind says, just one more time, reply, no, not this time. Every time it says, I'll start tomorrow, reply, tomorrow starts today. Train your brain like a muscle. The more you challenge it, the stronger it gets. Here's a trick. Visualize yourself 1 year from now, the best version of you. Now ask, what habits does that person have? How do they think? What do they do every day? And then start living like that person now. Because the only difference between you and your future self is the habits you practice today. Also, remember this, your brain loves patterns. If you've been doing something for years, it won't let go easily. So don't get angry when you slip. Get aware, laugh at it. Say, nice try, old me, but not today. Humor breaks the emotional link between guilt and habit. See, guilt keeps bad habits alive. You make a mistake, you feel bad, and then you do the same thing again to feel better. It's a loop. The way out is not perfection, it's awareness and recovery. When you fall, don't restart, just continue. Don't waste energy punishing yourself, save it for your next action. You must upgrade your software before expecting better results. Once your mindset starts shifting, something amazing happens. Your bad habits begin to look small. You stop craving them because you've started craving something bigger, growth. And when that happens, there's just one final step left. How to make your new habits last forever, even when motivation disappears and life gets messy again. Ladies and gentlemen, you've faced your bad habits, replaced them, reshaped your environment, and reprogrammed your mind. But now comes the hardest part, staying consistent when life gets messy. Because let's be honest, anyone can be disciplined when they're motivated. But when you're tired, when things don't go as planned, when stress hits, that's when bad habits sneak back in, wearing a smile that says, miss me? That's why the fifth and final way to break bad habits before they break you is this. Build systems, not moods. You see, motivation is like your favorite song. It pumps you up, but it eventually ends. What keeps you going isn't the mood, it's the system you build when you don't feel like it. Let me give you an example. There's a guy I know who wanted to start running every morning. He bought new shoes, new earbuds, posted his day 1 picture on Instagram, then the next morning it rained. Day 2 became day never. He said, I'll start again when the weather is better. I said, bro, if your goals depend on the weather, you'll never make it to summer. So I told him to build a system. Every day at 7 a.m., he'd just wear his running shoes and step outside. Even if he didn't run, he had to show up. Within a week, his brain learned 7 a.m. is action time. After a month, he was running before his alarm even rang. That's what systems do. They train your habits to move automatically. Here's the secret. Don't rely on feelings, rely on rules. Because feelings change every hour, but rules guide you every day. Your system could be simple, a fixed bedtime and wake-up time, a daily no-phone zone for an hour, Sunday planning for the whole week, rewarding yourself after finishing a task, even a small one. Discipline isn't about being strict, it's about being smart enough to make success easy and failure hard. Let's be real. There will be days you'll fall off track. Days when you'll say, I don't feel like doing anything. That's okay. But remember this, missing one day is a mistake. Missing 2 is a habit. So bounce back quickly. Don't wait for the perfect restart. Just start again, badly, slowly, awkwardly. But start. I once met a woman who said, I always lose momentum after 1 week. I asked why. She said, I stop when it stops being exciting. I told her, then stop chasing excitement. Chase consistency. The boring part is where the magic happens. Because success isn't built in moments of excitement. It's built in those quiet, unglamorous moments when no one is watching and you still show up. And here's something funny but true. Your habits don't care about your mood, but your future self does. So when you're tempted to go back to your old ways, ask yourself, am I feeding my comfort or my future? The goal isn't to be perfect, it's to be persistent. You'll slip, you'll mess up, but as long as you keep coming back, you're winning. So build routines that work for you even on bad days. Surround yourself with reminders of why you started. Because one day, you'll look back and realize the person who used to be controlled by bad habits is gone. You'll feel lighter, freer, more in charge. And that's the moment you'll understand. You didn't just break your bad habits, you built a new life. So before your bad habits break you, start breaking them. One honest thought, one better choice, one consistent day at a time. And remember, your habits create your life quietly, but the results will speak loudly. Make sure they tell the story you want the world to hear. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends.